welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace Marie. Thank you guys for joining me. These are the November 2025 tarot scopes. I hope you guys enjoy them. You got to cut me a little bit of a break with my formatting today. It's Mercury retrograde and I'm feeling it. So I'm just going to roll with the punches, but I do wanted to make sure that we got out the tarot predictions for the 12 rising signs, and obviously we're putting it out on 11/11. So there you go. There's your spirit numbers. If you guys like the deck that I'm using in this presentation today, well, I hope you do, because it's mine. This is the tarot deck that I recently this week put out for sale. If you like it and you want to pick up a copy, click the link in the description below. You guys can head over to my Etsy store. Probably about the time that you guys are watching this, based on inventory, we're about halfway sold out of the total decks. Once they're gone, they're gone. So make sure you guys pick one up, and I hope you guys enjoy. Now you guys can listen to your rising sun or moon sign for these tarot predictions. If you're looking for astrology and horoscopes, that's strictly astrology for the most part. Check out my November horoscopes for the month. This is going to be more tarot. It's a little bit more intuitive and creative. And please don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Sharing is caring. Share on your socials. And please do leave me a comment below. Whether you're leaving me a comment when you see this Tuesday, or if you want to come back at the end of November and let me know how these predictions played out for you. Do let me know. And yeah, subscribe to the channel. Any interaction with the channel really helps the channel grow. So we're going to be covering for all of my 12 signs. I'm going to give you guys a several card spread. We're going to do a general kind of forecast overall energy, and then we are going to do a card on love for the month ahead, a card on finances for the month ahead, a card on your career predictions for the month ahead, and an outcome card. So it pretty much covers all of the bases. I like to kind of switch it up a little bit each month and do something different. But this one's kind of just straight and directly to the point. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with Aries and Aries risings. What's up, Aries and Aries risings? Welcome to your November 2025 tarot scopes. As you can see here, we have got 5 cards that's going to be covering everything going on this month for you, with a final outcome card that is going to wrap it all up. So the month kicks off in November with the Hermit card upright. And my interpretation is that, the Hermit card coming up here is really a call to introspection. Perhaps you're needing a little bit more solitude this month. And this is where the lantern of inner wisdom is illuminating your path, obviously through what might feel like a little bit of darkness or uncertainty. Now, obviously, Aries, you're known for your bold, oriented, kind of action-based nature. This card in November is really, I think, encouraging a shift from external conquest to inner exploration. As you know, there's lots of retrogrades going on this month, so that makes sense. And I think kind of amid some of like the bustling energy that's kind of coming up with the holiday season approaching, you may feel this unusual pull to kind of withdraw from social whirlwinds. Maybe you're reflecting on your life's direction, maybe you need more sleep. But this isn't really about isolation, but it's more about recharging your spirit and seeking guidance from within. So practices like meditation, journaling, quiet walks in nature can all be really beneficial and helpful for you. And I think this is about kind of embracing this hermit-like phase and gaining clarity on some of your long-term goals that have been maybe kind of clouded by some impulsive decisions that have been coming up. Now, the cards kind of correspondence here also highlights a necessary balance for you, Aries. Obviously, your natural leadership thrives when it's tempered with wisdom. So this is kind of helping you prevent burnout. I would say I would expect some subtle, kind of like revelations that align your passions with your purpose. And this is really helping you set a foundation for renewed energy as the month progresses. Now, this energy also fosters personal growth, reminding you that true strength comes from self-knowledge, ultimately leading to, I think, more authentic interactions and achievements. And likely you'll see as November unfolds that, you can use this as a time to really evaluate past actions. And it's really allowing you to tap into that hermit energy where you're revealing hidden truths that are really propelling you forward with greater intention and probably more resilience as well. So on to the love department. You guys get the 6 of Wands upright. And this is a great card. So, the Six of Wands upright, it obviously represents triumph. This is also about public recognition and celebration of small victories. So obviously, in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, we see a figure that's kind of on a horseback and he's being held by admirers. So I tried to kind of pay homage to that in my twist. But I think this is a card of success. For you guys in love in November, this card can really correspond to like a wave of positive affirmation and maybe more affection and celebration in your romantic life. Maybe you're feeling more confident or charismatic energy is kind of drawing the attention and applause from partners or potential suitors. And if you're in a relationship, I think that I would expect moments of shared success. So some kind of joint accomplishment, right? Like planning a holiday event or resolving a lingering issue that strengthens the bond and brings some type of public acknowledgement. So you might notice there's more compliments from friends and family. And those of you guys who are single, you might find that, you're attracting admirers who appreciate, the ability that you're kind of like a trailblazer or you're a free spirit. This can mean that there can be exciting flirtations or dates that feel like victories. It could also mean there's somehow some romance that's tied to travel. Now, obviously you have a fiery kind of passion, so this is going to be really amplifying your natural magnetism. But it does advise you, to watch the ego. There could be some ego clashes. To use this energy to celebrate love openly and really focus on fostering deeper connections, I think, through, mutual appreciation. Likely by the end of November, you're going to see that this vibe is really manifesting as a relationship milestone. Maybe it's reminding you that love flourishes when there's shared victories between you and another person. Maybe it means that it's about being more open and, being able to go after what you want. If you're embracing vulnerability in these wins, you'll deepen intimacy, and this card can really kind of guide you towards relationships that honor your more independent and kind of like fiery nature. Now in the financial department, card number 3, you get the World card reversed, okay? Quite a few major arcanas here. I'm just kind of like really noticing like the Hermit card, the World card, the Magician card, the Moon card. There's a lot of major energy, so a lot of things are shifting for you, but financially, with the World card coming up reversed, it can mean that there's incomplete cycles going on. Maybe you're feeling like there's a delay that's going on financially, or maybe there's just a sense of being kind of, just like stuck in a financial situation. You're trying to complete some kind of financial cycle. It can symbolize unfinished business or external blocks that are preventing closure. So, for Aries, the finances in November, this card could really reflect potential frustrations in wrapping up financial matters. Maybe you're dealing with delayed payments, stalled investments, or projects that just kind of seem to perpetually be on the brink of fruition, but it's not really pushing through. This might tempt you to push harder, but I think the reversal is advising patience. And if you're rushing it, it could really like exacerbate setbacks. So instead, I would recommend focusing on reviewing loose ends and maybe auditing your budget or renegotiating terms, maybe looking to diversify holdings, and really focusing on building some kind of financial resilience. And also, I would say that this is about the need for you to learn from cycles rather than forcing them. Especially during a month where there's going to be a lot more like holiday expenses that might be looming. So embrace this as like a preparatory phase. Maybe by addressing unfinished financial trends, you'll prevent larger issues. And the card suggests that while abundance feels elusive now, tying up some of these, knots will actually pave the way for, I think, better, finances in the future, leading to better stability and a sense of like wholeness as December approaches. Ultimately, this is a card that is reversed, so it's teaching you the value of completion and transforming temporary stalls into long-term financial wisdom and security. Now, the 4th card you get is the Magician card, and this is in regards to your career. So, obviously this is also reversed. The Magician card is a card that really, I think it points to untapped potential. And this could also mean that maybe this month you feel like your energies are a little scattered, or there's a misalignment of maybe skills or intention. And, the tools for manifestation are present, but they're not fully utilized. So in your career this November, this card corresponds to moments of doubt or potentially inefficiency at work. Maybe perhaps feeling like, your natural resources or resourcefulness is blocked by distractions or maybe unclear goals. I think as an Aries, you're really good at adapting and initiating things. So, initiating projects with dynamic energy this month is possible, but the reversal warns against overconfidence and leading to half-baked efforts. So, for example, maybe a presentation falls flat or, a skill set isn't really leveraged properly. So to counteract this, you want to realign your focus and take inventory when it comes to your talents, set clear intentions, and channel your willpower deliberately. The energy ties obviously to your kind of pioneering spirit too, and it's reminding you that true magic happens through disciplined application, not just raw power. So November is ideal for skill refinement, like taking a workshop or reorganizing your workspace. And I think by addressing these reversals, you'll transform potential pitfalls into what can be stepping stones that are going to allow you to kind of emerge at the end of the month more empowered, have a better professional presence, and opportunities that are really aligning with your ambitions. Ultimately, this card really encourages you to harness that inner kind of alchemist. So it's about turning scattered ideas into concrete kind of success through mindful action. Now, the outcome card that you get, Aries, is the Moon card reversed. So off the bat, intuitively, I feel like maybe you're going to be doing better if you're tracking the lunar cycle this month. Maybe if you're paying attention to the new moons and obviously the full moons, that can be really significant for you, or the Cancer area of your chart, or where your natal moon is. These are all things that I would watch for. But the moon reversed, it does signal some sense of like illusions that are coming up. Issues regarding clarity and confusion. There can also be a sense of releasing subconscious fears and allowing intuition to guide you without deception or confusion. I think as you're wrapping up November, this card really indicates that there's going to be a powerful shift, and this is going towards emotional stability and directional certainty, almost like where the fog of uncertainty is lifting to reveal some kind of truth. Now, your temperament's bold, and often you have a tendency to charge ahead, even if you don't have full visibility. But the benefit from this reversal, I think, is learning to trust emerging realities over things that are deceptive or vague. Perhaps this means you're resolving a personal dilemma or maybe seeing through a misleading situation. The correspondence really emphasizes growth through vulnerability, and it's about encouraging you to confront hidden anxieties that may have subtly kind of influenced your decisions. So as the month concludes, you're going to find that you'll be having, revelations that are going to help stabilize your path, like clear goals or resolve conflicts. And I think this is all about fostering grounded confidence. This card's energy in particular promises that by embracing the clarity, you'll head into December with a renewed sense of purpose, free from the moon's kind of like shadowy grip, right? So, you're ready to kind of manifest your visions now without having that kind of clouded intent. So I think the outcome is going to be reinforcing your resilience and possibly turning some of the more introspective cards or the reversals this month into actionable empowerment in December. So Aries, I hope it's a good month for you. Definitely let me know, and I will catch you back here next month. What's up, Taurus and Taurus risings? Welcome to your November 2025 horoscopes. I hope you guys are doing well. I've got 5 cards here as a spread for you to give you a general kind of outlook on the month ahead, what it's looking like for love, what it's looking like for finances, career, as well as a general overall outcome card. So Taurus, the general overall card that you get for the month is the 3 of Wands reversed. So this is kind of suggesting there could be some delays that could be happening this month. Obviously, you have a lot of planets retrograde, but this could be delays in expansion or potentially unforeseen obstacles in planning and a need to really reassess your forward momentum, where I think anticipated growth feels a little postponed. For you in November, obviously this card really aligns with your kind of like steadfast nature. I mean, obviously you're very grounded and you're an earth sign, so it's highlighting the importance of patience amid setbacks. So your usual kind of approach to building security, might encounter some hiccups. You could see that travel plans or long-term visions are stalling due to external factors. Rather than getting frustrated, view this as really like a call to fortify your foundations and maybe refine strategies, gather more information, and definitely avoid overcommitment this month. This energy corresponds with your need for stability, and it's reminding you that progress comes from, solid groundwork, not hasty leaps. As we build into November, we're seeing that we're coming into the holiday season, it could amplify this. Maybe it's urging you to have introspection on what, expansions really serve your values. And by adapting, you'll learn that, you can turn some of these reversals into opportunities for deeper preparation, and like the momentum will be returning at the end of the month. It's sustainable and it's aligned with your earthiness. So I would say embrace this phase as a time to nurture your inner resources, allowing things to really transform, and look at any temporary pauses as something that's really guiding you more in the direction of figuring out where it is that you want to go. Now in the love department, we've got the Nine of Pentacles reversed. And this is a card that definitely denotes issues with like self-sufficiency, okay? So potential dependency in relationships, maybe a loss of independence that's kind of breeding some dissatisfaction. Obviously, you're ruled by Venus, so like love and relationships is important. And we've got planets that are going through Scorpio, so that's your opposite sign in your 7th house. We're having a retrograde. So this card is really about reflecting on a challenge to your inherent appreciation for luxury, security, and where partnerships might feel a bit imbalanced. Now, perhaps this is about relying too heavily on a partner for emotional or material support. Maybe this means that there is resentment or isolation that's coming up. Obviously, Taurus, you thrive, when you have stable central connections. But this reversal is really advising, you to reclaim your independence in some way. Focus on cultivating personal hobbies, setting boundaries, obviously nurturing yourself beyond like relational dynamics. It corresponds by warning against becoming, too comfortable. It's also about encouraging growth through vulnerability. If you're single, you may struggle with solitude and feeling lonely rather than empowered, but use this time to build inner richness. I think by addressing these, relationships can evolve, into more, equal unions, fostering deeper intimacy and reminding you that love enhances, not necessarily defines, your self-reliant spirit. This card ultimately is about bringing in balanced love where personal fulfillment and partnership can coexist harmoniously. So it'll lead to more satisfying romantic experiences, but you want to look at relationships as the icing on the cake, right? Something that just adds to the life that you have already kind of created that's fulfilled. Now, on to the finance card, which you get the Knight of Swords reversed. So keep an eye out for, obviously we've got the Knight of Swords, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, air and other fellow earth signs this month, okay? And the Knight of Swords can be talking about financial messages, emails, phone calls, text messages, conversations, meetings. And it can be about having, kind of back and forth with an air sign or having to sign documents or agree to things. Now, the Knight of Swords reverse indicates that there's some impulsive actions coming up financially, or maybe making hasty decisions or conflicts that are arising, from some financial kind of challenges where intellect overrides caution. Obviously, finances are a big deal for you. In November, this card is really cautioning against, your typical kind of cautious approach to being overridden by rash choices. And some of you guys are going to feel compelled maybe to make a quick investment or have a dispute over money that like escalates unnecessarily. So obviously I know you need and crave stability. So this reversal really corresponds to urging a slowdown, seeking counsel, and analyzing any financial risks thoroughly and avoiding confrontations that could really harm financial harmony. Maybe this means holiday pressures might, tempt shortcuts, but patience really will prevent losses this month. And I would be embracing this as a lesson learned when it comes to balancing assertiveness and transforming potential kind of mishaps into, strategic wisdom, and maybe securing more when it comes to having, a thoughtful financial kind of trajectory. The energy here is really teaching you to kind of blend the practical nature that you have with measured action, ensuring that any financial decisions you make is aligning with your long-term goals rather than just fleeting impulsive, kind of spending or buys. This will ensure that financial decisions really align with what it is that you want to have in the long term. So by the time you get to the end of November, this reversal can actually lead to regain control, feeling like you have a sense of financial peace and preparedness for future financial abundance. Now, when we get to the fourth card, this is the career card, and this is the Knight of Pentacles reversed. So it's really important to keep an eye out. This could be you. This could also mean this is somebody else that you're dealing with. It could be a fellow earth sign, so another Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. But it is kind of addressing you. So it can mean that, maybe in a career sense, you're feeling a little bit of stagnation, right? Maybe there has been some reluctance to change, or you're feeling that there is inefficiency in routine tasks. And this is kind of like where, diligence turns into feeling like it's just like Groundhog's Day. And I think that obviously career matters a lot to you guys. In November, it's highlighting the risk of your kind of reliable, hardworking nature feeling trapped in, this monotonous kind of cycle. So perhaps it's a job that no longer inspires you, right? Which is leading to procrastination or missed opportunities. This card corresponds by encouraging you to make small innovations and update your routine. Maybe explore side projects or reassess goals that can help reignite the passion. I would use this reversal to break free without recklessness because it's reversed, and it's about paving the way for fulfillment and advancements and a refreshed sense of like professional commitment. So if you take the chance to reevaluate your work ethic and ensure that it's serving your growth rather than hindering it, I think you guys are going to vibe better with it. It's all about addressing this energy and kind of, I think, transforming some of the stagnant patterns at work into having a little bit more dynamic progress. And if you're aligning your career with something that's meaningful, you'll see that it can help you obtain, I think, stable achievements and start to build towards something lasting, especially as you're getting into the beginning of 2026. Now, your outcome card is actually quite great. I mean, look at, you got 4 reversals and then it's like, boom, Wheel of Fortune. So, there is a silver lining for you guys this month. And I think that the Wheel of Fortune is really symbolizing that this is a month that's about cycles of change, right? Destiny is kind of turning in your favor. Maybe there is some kind of unexpected, positive shifts that happen. And obviously, the Wheel of Fortune depicts a spinning wheel. And this is also going to be really kind of connecting to, the ebbs and flow of fate. So as we get to the end of November, Taurus, I think that this is promising a fortunate turnaround from earlier in the month, where maybe the patient kind of grounded work is aligning with cosmic timing to kind of bring you opportunities for growth. For some, it could feel like sudden windfalls or new ventures or, resolutions that really propel stability moving forward. And I think that this is also reminding you that, like life's wheel brings rewards after challenges. There's like ups and downs, but that all kind of propels some of the ups, So if we embrace adaptability in these shifts, like accepting helpful changes in routine or networks, to maximize the upward momentum, you'll find that as you get to the end of the month, there is this sense of destiny unfolding, and it's going to make you more optimistic. I also feel like it's going to be teaching you that your patience will manifest as, kind of rewards in the form of expansion, especially as you're getting to, closer to the new year. So Taurus, I hope it's a good month for you. You guys will have to let me know, and I'll catch you guys back here in December. Hey Gemini and Gemini rising, welcome to your November 2025 Horoscopes. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're thriving. I've got 5 cards here for you for the month ahead. We've got a general, a love, a finance, a career, and an outcome card. The first card that you guys get, chuckle, is the Lover's card reversed. Okay, so it's calling you out. And maybe it's like a Gemini, and I can only imagine with like the retrograde going on and, planets moving back into your career house, you feel like everything is like topsy-turvy. So if you haven't listened to your astrology this month, you should. But I would say with the Lover's card coming up, that is the card that's associated with Gemini. And I could just feel like a little Geminis are just kind of like, what is going on? Why does everything feel like it's like backwards? So it can signify there is a bit of like disharmony within yourself. Maybe you're feeling conflicted when it comes to making choices. Maybe there are some misaligned values or relational kind of imbalances. And it's really challenging unity and decision-making this month. I think it's on all fronts. I think it could be with relationships. I think it could be at work. Think it could be within yourself. And I think for Gemini in November, this card is really, going to resonate with like that sense of your dual nature. And it'll maybe amplify internal conflicts. So if you're adaptable, curious, and keeping an open mind, you're going to navigate this better. But some of you might grapple with indecisive, kind of decisions in key areas like your career or your personal commitments amid some of the kind of building holiday distractions. So this energy really calls for realignment. This is the time to focus on your core values. I would be communicating openly and seeking harmony between the heart and the head. I know, easier said than done. And it really corresponds by teaching, Gemini how to integrate opposites and fostering a deeper sense of understanding and sometimes turning confusion into empowered choices for a more kind of cohesive life direction. But there's a lot of moving parts this month. So November's kind of social energy could heighten this. It's possible that, it's urging you to prioritize authentic connections over superficial ones. Maybe it's about embracing this reversal because it's going to help you navigate dualities with grace and find the balance. Perhaps emerging clear when it comes to your priorities that are kind of aligning more with, obviously, your kind of versatile spirit, but giving you more purposeful action, leading to greater, personal and relational depth by the month's end. Watch out for temptation, falling back into old habits or patterns. That can be a theme here. Now for love, you get the Queen of Wands upright. So keep your eyes out for fire signs. It can mean you're embodying and channeling this energy, even though you're an air sign. It can mean that you're dealing with fire signs, so Aries, Leos, and Sagittariuses. And the Queen of Wands upright, it really, I think, embodies this very passionate, charismatic, confident, creative, warm energy. She's nurturing because she's a queen, but she's fierce. And in Gemini's kind of love sphere in November, it's drawing a really, I think, a vibrant connection through your witty social charm. I would expect fun, dynamic interactions that spark joy, whether it's deepening bonds with a partner via adventures, or adventurous dates or outings, or maybe attracting admirers who kind of match your intellectual fire. This card also corresponds to, encouraging bold expression of desires while advising against, kind of scattering your affections. There could be a lot of back and forth in relationships this month. Okay, I can see that. And I think the positive is that you can use this card to really build passionate, I think supportive relationships. It can be enhancing your relational landscapes with, more creativity and enthusiasm. Obviously, your communication shines here too because it's about fostering dialogues that really ignite passion and mutual growth. So it is possible by month's end, this kind of like queenly energy could lead you to exciting new romantic developments, reminding you that love thrives on shared adventure and genuine expression. But it can also mean that you're taking a little bit more of like a bold, passionate, fiery kind of approach in how you're dealing with relational matters. Now, on to finance. The card that you guys get is the Emperor reversed. So, tricky card. I know some of you guys are going through some changes with your work or your work schedule or dealing with boss-related matters. That's a theme. So that can be part of it. But the Emperor reverse points to some sense of instability in structures. So, authority issues or like rigid control that can like lead to chaos at work. Or financially. And I think for Gemini's finances, you guys are pretty solid this year. Jupiter is highlighting your money house. It is getting ready to go retrograde. So maybe it's about, budgeting or, plans that are kind of faltering, but because you're flexible, it helps. You just have to approach these situations financially with a sense of maturity. You can't lack discipline because if you are, it's going to cause, disruptions and unexpected expenses. So this reversal really corresponds by urging, reestablishment of order. So you have to create firm strategies financially. Maybe that means consulting with an expert or balancing, adaptability with structure. I do think that November's energy will foster more resilience and help you transform your vulnerabilities into stable financial foundations. I would embrace this lesson in a grounded kind of decision-making way, and likely ensuring, obviously your quick-witted nature doesn't lead to scattered resources. I would also be addressing any instabilities in finances, whether it's your finances or joint finances, because if you talk about it, if you kind of get it out in the open, you'll be able to regain control and you'll be able to feel, I think, that you can be more strategic with your financial management, and ultimately that's going to support a Gemini's kind of multifaceted lifestyle. So take control, take the bull by the horns this month. On to career, we have the Five of Cups, which, truth be told, this comes up quite a bit for whatever reason in my spreads for a lot of the 12 signs. There's a lot of like mopey energy because Saturn and Neptune are back in Pisces. And it is upright. So when it comes to your career, the Five of Cups upright represents disappointment. Okay, Saturn and Neptune are back in your career house. I think that's why. So there can be loss of focus at work, maybe lingering regrets. You know, the spilled cups obviously kind of symbolizes traditionally in the Rider-Waite deck past setbacks. But because you have a quick mind, you know, you're not one to really dwell on failures, but really shift into focusing on potential for new paths forward. So I think this card is more about kind of connecting to Gemini's ability to adapt. And, you know, I think it's about advising forgiveness in a professional sense, or giving yourself a little bit of grace. And it's about exploration to, you know, new professional doors, maybe finding renewed motivation. It is possible you can use your curiosity to kind of reframe regrets as learning experiences and let those things go, those coulda, shoulda, woulda. And perhaps networking or upskilling, you know, to move forward will help. And this energy aligns, I think, with helping you see beyond losses to untapped possibility, you know, ultimately leading to, like, I think, a more optimistic and kind of innovative career trajectory. Certainly, you know, some of the transits, like the retrogrades in your 10th house, don't help. The Mercury retrograde makes me feel like there's some disappointment that a job or a relationship with a coworker or, you know, a office change or something just doesn't quite feel fulfilling. Like it doesn't quite hit the mark, and you're disappointed that things don't go according to plan this month. However, the outcome card is the 5th card that you get, and you guys get the 10 of Pentacles, which is a great card. So even in spite of some of the twists and the turns and having to stand up for yourself and dealing with some of the power struggles and not beating yourself up about past decisions, the 10 of Pentacles really denotes long-term security, legacy, you know, family abundance, career success. And this is all about, you know, culminating in shared prosperity. So it's possible that in November for you, Gemini, it really brings positive closure with support from community or family, maybe leading to financial and emotional stability. And I do think that it is really rewarding connections with lasting rewards and a sense of fulfillment. Now, this can mean that you are embracing, you know, intergenerational wisdom or group endeavors, spending time with family, wrapping up the month more on a high note of abundance that really grounds that kind of airy energy that you have into something that feels like real tangible success, but also harmonious relationships. Gemini, I hope it's a good month for you guys. You'll have to let me know how it goes, and I'll catch you back here in December. Hey, Cancer and Cancer rising. Welcome to your November 2025 horoscopes. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm excited to chat with you. I've got 5 cards for you to give you an idea of what's kind of happening in the cards for the month ahead. We have a general, a love, a finance, a career, and an outcome card. Now, the month kicks off with your general kind of overview, which you have the 6 of Swords upright. Well, this really illustrates transition. Okay, so for some of you guys, it's moving. Some of you guys, it's traveling. For others, it's healing journeys or moving towards calmer waters is traditionally kind of the outlook when we see the 6 of Swords coming up. So often you'll find that there is also guidance that come from others or a connection to a sense of inner strength. In November, this card really signals emotional relief from recent troubles, right? Obviously, you're a Cancer, so you're sensitive. You guys are really focusing now on nurturing, you know, soul benefits from this shift. And perhaps this could be through, you know, relocating thoughts, literal changes like a short trip, releasing old patterns that no longer serve. And I think this is good because it works with your intuitive flow. It does encourage you to let go of burdens and really trust the process of moving forward. Obviously, as the holiday season is kind of stirring a lot of like family, you know, or past relations, that could make sense. And even though there is some potential turbulence whenever you're dealing with swords, this is about seeking support from trusted allies to help you navigate to smoother paths. So if you embrace this transitional phase, you know, being in between living situations, in between jobs, in between relationships, you'll actually find healing and renewal, and it can really align, obviously, with like your kind of more protective shell and help you open up to new horizons. I think November offers you a gentle push towards peace, and it reminds you that change can be protective rather than threatening. And ultimately, it'll help you develop better emotional security and, a refreshed perspective maybe on kind of like life's ebbs and flows. Now, when we get to the love department, you guys get the Star card reversed. So obviously, this is a major card. I mean, it can mean that there is a sense of in the love department, dimmed hope a little bit, maybe disconnection from inspiration. Some of you guys might feel a little bit of self-doubt that's really clouding your vision of the future. And, in romance in November, you guys have retrogrades going on that's impacting your romance house. So it might be about reflecting on moments where optimism in relationships feel faded. And maybe you feel a little bit more like your empathic heart might question the authenticity of bonds, and maybe you're struggling with vulnerability. Now, this can lead to a sense of isolation if you're not careful. This reversal corresponds by urging you, I think, to reconnect with your inner light and practice self-care rituals and affirm your worth, because it's about restoring kind of faith through small acts of kindness towards yourself and others. This card also advises against letting fears eclipse potential joy. Those of you guys who are single may feel hesitant to open up, while, partnered Cancers might address unspoken doubt. I think if you work through this, you'll reignite hope and definitely transform some of the dim stars into kind of guided beacons for more fulfilled love. And this energy really teaches more about resilience in relationships and romance, leading to renewed connection that's going to give you, the security that you're craving. Now, financially, you guys get the 9 of Cups upright, which is a great card. This is known as like the wish card, right? It brings obviously emotional satisfaction, contentment, fulfillment of desires through abundance. So for Cancer's finances in November, I expect a gratifying, developments like unexpected gains or successful investments or simply a sense of financial ease, maybe that's aligning with your need for security. I know some of you guys are definitely going to be having some positive job things that are happening. And this card corresponds to your sign's kind of emotional approach to money. So it's blending intuition with practicality. So perhaps there's like wishes for home improvement or family support, and it manifests positively. I would celebrate these wins with gratitude to really amplify the energy. Don't get too comfortable. Try to maintain, a sense of balance with your eating and drinking and spending. Obviously, holiday preparations can enhance this and kind of turn, material comforts into heartfelt joys as well. I think if you embrace this 9 of Cups, you'll find that you're cultivating a sense of like deeper, prosperity, and really that prosperity comes from nurturing your soul. And it's also about that, true wealth encompasses emotional fulfillment alongside financial stability, but still it's paving the way for sustained abundance by the end of the month. Now, career-wise, you have the 2 of Cups coming up upright, which I really like because obviously we know that the 2 of Cups does symbolize harmonious partnerships and mutual respect and, emotional bonds and collaborations. And this is often depicted as like a toast between 2 figures. And I think that in a career sense in November, it's highlighting that, you thrive through teamwork. If your caring, intuitive nature is fostering successful alliances, perhaps in projects that require empathy or creative synergy. So this card really corresponds by enhancing your relational skills. And I think it's also about, encouraging open communication and a shared vision at work. So whether networking for new opportunities or deepening ties with colleagues, I would expect positive changes that advance your professional goals. Now, this will also lead to a turning point and potential challenges into cooperative triumphs. This energy aligns with your desire for meaningful work, leading to fulfilling roles that feel like extensions of nurturing yourself. Ultimately, with the 2 of Cups coming up, I think it'll boost your career satisfaction and bring long-term success and potential new professional relationships. And the final card you get as the outcome card is the 10 of Cups. Wow. Some really great cards here. I think that, it doesn't get much better than the 9 of 10 of Cups. You guys got lucky. So the 10 of Cups really represents ultimate emotional fulfillment and joy. And it looks to me like a lot of that's coming from a place of, okay, if certain relationships or certain places aren't for me or they're not nourishing me, I need to turn within, heal myself, figure out what's going to make me happy, and welcome new collaboration in my life. And then you can have ultimate fulfillment. this means that could be family harmony. It could be a rainbow, obviously, like the picture of joy that's symbolizing wholeness in relationships. I think concluding November for Cancer, this card promises a really beautiful wrap up to the month and deepening bonds, perhaps family gatherings or personal achievements that bring some kind of collective happiness. It does really focus on rewarding emotional investment with a sense of, completeness and bliss. I would embrace gratitude, in all of the moments of November that you experience this, because I think it'll help reinforce your intuitive path towards, lasting contentment, knowing that you're making the right moves. And this outcome leaves you with a sense of renewed optimism. So you're ready for December's energy with a fortified, emotional foundation, and I think a more harmonious outlook. Cancer, what a great reading. I hope it is an excellent month for you guys. Let me know how the month unfolds, and I'll catch you guys back here in December. Hey Leo and Leo rising, welcome to your November 2025 Horoscopes. I'm excited to be back with you guys. I've got 5 cards here to give you your general overall reading for the month ahead. Now we have got general, love, finance, career, and outcome. Now, we begin the month with your general kind of card reading, to which you get the Ace of Swords upright. Now, the Ace of Swords upright, it's about a breakthrough in clarity. This could be intellectual triumph, the power of truth, contracts, negotiations, meetings, some new ideas. And this is really symbolized by a hand emerging from the clouds, holding this sword, and it's all about victory. So for Leo in November, this card is really about empowering your naturally dramatic and confident personality, but I think with, sharp mental kind of focus. I think this sword allows you to cut through any lingering confusion or deception in your life. Now, as a fire sign, you're ruled by the sun, so you really thrive on bold expression, and the ace can really amplify that by providing decisive insights. So perhaps a sudden realization about a personal goal or a creative project that propels you forward is going to, bring up some building excitement. I would apply this by, tackling challenges head on with honest communication, whether in confrontations or in planning. But remember that the sword is double-edged. You want to wield it with justice, but avoid unnecessary conflict. Now, November becomes a month of intellectual victories where your leadership shines through clear thinking, fostering personal growth, and aligning your actions with authentic purpose. The correspondence reminds you that power comes not just from charisma, but from discerning truth. So ultimately, leading to empowered decisions that enhance your overall life direction and inspire those around you. If you embrace this energy of the Ace of Swords, I think it'll recharge your spirit, and I think it's also, setting you up for inspired achievements as the year draws to a close. Now, in the love department, you get the 9 of Cups reversed. And the 9 of Cups is still a good card. Even though it's reversed, it is a minor card, so it is changeable in its nature. But it does indicate the potential for overindulgence. Maybe unmet emotional desires or superficial satisfaction that makes, that could be masking deeper dissatisfaction. Yes, this is the wish card, but when it's turned inward, it's about unfulfilled promises. So Leo, in November, I think this card's really prompting a reflective pause on what truly nourishes your passionate heart. Obviously, your generous, theatrical nature might need extravagant gestures, or a pursuit, that kind of comes up that feels hollow is going to leave you feeling less than satisfied, and likely it'll cause some frustration in relationship if your expectations are not met. For those of you who are coupled, it could manifest as, overgiving without reciprocity, maybe leading to resentment. And if you're single, you might be chasing, admiration, but it might be fleeting connections that lack substance. So apply this insight by really, being a little bit more introspective on your genuine needs, communicate openly about your emotional fulfillment, and set boundaries against excess. If you can prioritize self-satisfaction without having dependency on external validation, you're gonna manage a little bit better this month. This also corresponds to, I think, your need for balance in attraction. And this is teaching you that true contentment arises from authentic depth, I think, rather than performative romance. So it's about addressing some of these imbalances and transforming potential disappointments into opportunities for, I think, more meaningful bonds, which will help foster relationships that really honor your kind of like loyal, energies that you bring to relationships. So I do think that November offers a chance to realign, and it's ensuring that love reflects your inner radiance rather than a superficial shine. Now, financially for you guys, this month you get the Chariot card. So this is a major arcana card. The Chariot, obviously upright. Yes, it represents determined victory, right? Mastery over opposing forces. So this is a card of forward momentum. It's through focused willpower. It's also, as you can see, depicted as a warrior in his chariot, pulled by the two horses. And it really talks about symbolizing kind of control. So in November, the card signals a swift progress towards your goals, and your inherent drive and confidence propel you past obstacles. Perhaps through strategic investments, maybe budgeting adjustments, or career-related earnings that build security. Now, your leadership qualities shine here. I think if you're applying this by maintaining discipline amid some of the holiday temptations financially, like avoiding impulse spending, while steering towards long-term stability, you'll be good. This correspondence also highlights your ability to harness inner strength for triumph and advising you to really concentrate on unifying conflict in your financial pulls. This could mean, what you want versus what you need. And I would expect advancements like debt reduction or unexpected gains. Just stay, on the up and up against being a little too overconfident because this can lead to some financial risks. Now, if you channel the energy of the Chariot, you'll achieve, I think, financial equilibrium, and you'll get all of your horses in a row, pun intended, reminding you that success really comes from directed effort and resilience. The upright position also is about a sense of accomplishment. So it is paving the way for prosperous horizons and an empowered approach to wealth. And I think you'll see this unfold all month long. There can be expenses relating to moving, home, travel, or vehicles. Now, when it comes to your career, you have another ace up your sleeve. You have the Ace of Cups, which obviously is traditionally like a relationship card, but this can mean that this is about, overflowing emotional new beginnings, creative inspiration, compassionate opportunities, obviously illustrated by a hand offering a chalice. And this is really symbolizing intuition and love, and that playing a role in your career this month. Now, it could mean that it's ushering in, fresh emotional or artistic ventures. Obviously, you're having retrograde in your 5th house, so it could be about getting back into getting creative again. But I think your charismatic presence is attracting roles that allow heartfelt expression. So if you're in a creative field or even a leadership position or a project involving teamwork and empathy, this is a great card. I would be applying this by trusting my gut feelings when it comes to new starts, like pursuing a passion project or networking with an open heart. And if you're aligning your professional path with personal fulfillment, that's the way to go. Now, the ace corresponds obviously to blending your fire with the ace's water, and that's to, I think, help inspire others and manifest abundance. You may notice there can be some overwhelming emotions, but if you're grounding your ideas in action for inspiration, it'll lead to satisfying advancements that really resonate with your soul. I think that aces are great cards to have. I mean, the energy promises rewarding paths and also enhancing job satisfaction. Maybe it's going to be about positioning you for long-term success through compassionate innovation at work, and being a little bit more authentic and kind of like relatable when it comes to your professional relationships. Now, the final card you get is the outcome card, which is the 6 of Pentacles. So great card, it's upright, and the 6 of Pentacles really denotes generosity. This is about finding the balance between giving and receiving. So it's about fair distribution of resources. Obviously, you see a figure that's dispensing coins to the needy, and he's holding the scales. So I think in November, what's concluding for you, Leo, is that this card is bringing harmony through shared prosperity. So you may find that, there's rewards in your kind acts of kindness. Maybe you're receiving help or recognition that restores equilibrium, after earlier efforts. You want to apply this by practicing reciprocity in your relationships and finances. Find little ways every day to pay it forward. ensuring that exchanges are, just to amplify abundance. And this correspondence aligns obviously with kind of teaching you that true leadership involves uplifting others and leading to personal fulfillment on your own. So I would expect positive closure like bonuses, support from mentors, community gains that really wrap the month on a high note. And I think by embodying this energy in November, you'll not only have a sense of balanced achievement, but you'll be ready for December feeling like you have strength in networks and a generous outlook that attracts further success. Leo, what a great reading for you for the month ahead. I hope it's a good one for you guys. You'll have to let me know, and I'll catch you guys back here in December. Hey Virgo and Virgo rising, welcome to your November 2025 horoscopes. I hope you guys are doing well and you're thriving. We have got a 5-card spread for you for the month, general overall reading, some on love, finance, career, and an overall outcome card. Now Virgo, your month kicks off with your general card, which is the 7 of Cups reversed. Now, this is an energy that does signify that you are kind of just pulling your head finally from out of the clouds. You're trying to get clarity. Maybe you're just barely emerging from what feels like illusions or discernment and choices. And it really wants to help you ground fantasies into practical reality. So I know that a lot of things feel scattered for you guys this month with the Mercury retrograde. But, where scattered options kind of like consolidate into focused decisions is with this card. Now, Virgo, in November, this card really resonates with your more analytical, detail-oriented mind by helping you sift through deceptive distractions or confusion. I know you're a perfectionist and you might have to, let go of overthinking any possibilities. But now I think clarity could actually prevail. It's possible that this is allowing you to really feel grounded. And if you apply this by evaluating dreams against feasibility, you'll be able to prioritize your viable goals, release unattainable fantasies, and I think use your critical eye to manifest efficiently. But this reversal does indicate and remind you that true advancement comes from realistic vision rather than wishful thinking. So expect moments of revelation that streamline your path. I think this is about reducing overwhelm and fostering efficient growth. I do see this as a card that says basically in November, it'll offer you a mental reset, helping transform confusion into actionable plans that align with your service-driven essence. I think that this energy is really going to empower self-discipline and leading to enhanced productivity and a clear sense of purpose as the month advances, ultimately guiding you towards sustainable achievement. Now for the love department, you get the Queen of Cups upright. So this can be you, or it can be about you dealing with another water sign. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, all of these are major water sign players. If not, it can mean that this is just about you tapping into the emotional nature of the Queen. Now, she embodies nurturing intuition and emotional depth. It's also about compassionate empathy. So, obviously you see her as like this serene, figure kind of gazing into a teacup. And this is meant to be representing inner wisdom. So, for your love life in November, this card really deepens connections through heartfelt understanding. Maybe your caring nature flourishes in supportive roles, and perhaps offering you quiet guidance to a partner or attracting someone who appreciates your subtle affection. For those of you who are coupled Virgos, it encourages vulnerable sharing. I think, to strengthen bonds. And if you're single, you may find intuitive matches that feel emotionally safe. I would apply this by trusting feelings over analysis, listen actively and express compassion, and balance giving and receiving to avoid burnout. I think this Queen really corresponds to Virgo's healing instincts because it's about blending practicality with emotional intelligence, and that's how harmonious relationships form. So if you embrace rituals like shared reflections to enhance intimacy, it'll help align with your desire for true love and meaningful service. And if you channel this energy appropriately, you'll cultivate deeper, more meaningful romances that nurture your soul and lead to a month of emotional richness and relational growth. Now for finance for the month ahead, you guys have the Three of Wands reversed. This can be a card that does point to delays in expansion. And you're going to see some of these setbacks that are going to happen this month with the retrogrades, changing direction either with work or home. And likely there's going to be some anticipated progress that feels a little stalled. So financially speaking, in November, this card really advises patience amid what may be some financial setbacks. Typically, you have like meticulous planning and you might encounter some hitches this month, like delayed returns or market shifts, maybe prompting a review of your investments or your budgets. If you apply this by fortifying your foundations and do things like audit your expenses or diversify your options and avoid overextension during holiday spending, I think you're going to fare better. This reversal also corresponds to teaching flexibility in the face of uncertainty to help build resilience. I would expect temporary frustrations, but use them for refinement, really transforming blocks into stronger financial structures. To me, it seems like November becomes a preparatory phase, reminding you that sustainable wealth really arises from, being more adaptive rather than rigid in your expectations, because ultimately it'll lead to clearer paths and renewed stability. Now, when it comes to your career, I get the devil reversed. Now, obviously, I know there's a lot of stuff kind of changing going on with your career stuff. I can only imagine with Uranus going through your 10th house, but really this is, Pluto's in your 6th, Saturn is and has been kind of in your opposite sign, and that's very much tied to the devil. And this is a card that really signals like liberation from toxic patterns, right? And addictions or self-imposed limitations or breaking chains that once kind of bound you to unhealthy dynamics. So in a career sense, Virgo, this November, this card is really empowering, releasing from draining routines or environments. Maybe your perfectionism may have been kind of trapped, having you trapped in, this overworking or unfulfilling role. But now awareness sparks change. So if you apply this by confronting your fears, likely through setting boundaries or seeking new opportunities and reclaiming your power through self-reflection, that's how you're going to find the wins this month at work. This reversal also is about turning shadow aspects into growth by shedding what no longer serves you. Expecting, shifts like job transitions or improved dynamics to really help foster a healthier professional balance. I think if you embrace this energy and you kind of break free from the chains, you'll emerge empowered and you'll be also aligning your work with true purpose, and it'll help lead to greater satisfaction and productivity in the future. I do assume this will be a theme that is going to continue for the next couple of months. And the final card that you get is the 5 of Cups reverse. This is the outcome card. And obviously the 5 of Cups can be a bit of a tricky energy, but it is reversed. So it's really about facilitating recovery from disappointment. This is also about forgiveness of the past or past losses and a definitive shift towards optimism where, the cups are, they're not spilled over. They're upside down, but they're not spilled over. So there's this acknowledgement that really helps you kind of focus on, turning them upright and focusing on kind of cleaning up the emotional mess that you've been dealing with the past couple of weeks. So wrapping up November, I think this card is about healing regrets. You might feel like your introspective nature is processing grief differently. And this can be good because you're opening doors to new possibilities, and this can lead to emotional renewal as long as you're not clinging on to the past. So you can apply this by practicing gratitude, maybe releasing self-criticism, embracing lessons learned, and moving forward with hope. I do think that this is going to be really reinforcing your resilience and helping transform sorrow into wisdom. And really, I think, moving forward with hope. I also think that there can be positive doors that can kind of be closing this month. I would expect uplifting endings like reconciled issues or fresh starts, likely leaving you with an empowered outlook as you move into December. I hope that was helpful for you, Virgo. Definitely let me know, and I will check in with you next month in December. Hey, Libra and Libra rising. Welcome to your November 2025 horoscopes. I hope you guys are doing well. I've got 5 cards for you to talk about what the month ahead looks like. We've got general, love, finance, career, and outcome. Libra, the month begins with the Tower upright. I can feel that very much. I think that the Tower card is one of those cards. It's like when you see it, you're like, oh shit, I don't want to see that. But likely when it comes up, it should not be something that's surprising, Libra, because really what it's representing is sudden upheaval. So the dismantling of false structures and liberating change through disruption. And this is really obviously depicted as you see like lightning and fire, striking this tower, kind of ejecting figures into the sky, because it really symbolizes major revelations. So Libra, in November, this card shakes things up. Typically you want a very harmonious world, and unfortunately we have to see this shake up because it's going to foster necessary transition and transformations. So typically your kind of diplomatic, balance-seeking nature, might serve you well, but this month those unexpected shifts in relationships, plans, even self-perception is clearing the way, are clearing away any illusions for authentic rebuilding. I would apply this by embracing the chaos as a catalyst. If you stay centered through this, I do think that it is possible that there can be fairness in the future. You can communicate openly to amid turmoil. Communicate openly amid turmoil, and you want to view breakdowns as opportunities for building stronger foundations. Obviously, you're an air sign, so you're known for being kind of like adaptable. And I think that you teach us that true equilibrium arises from honest reconstruction rather than superficial peace. So do expect, intense but brief disruptions like revelations or changes that realign your path during, holiday social fluxes. November becomes a pivotal month for growth, and it's reminding you to release outdated attachments. And I think it's ultimately leading you to enhanced clarity, resilience, and a better balanced perspective. All right, so then in the love department, we get the Seven of Swords, and I'm like, is this where the shocks and surprises are coming from? Is it like relational? Obviously, the Seven of Swords is a tricky card, and you gotta kind of keep your eyes out a little bit here for, dishonesty, manipulation, falsified things, whether or not you can trust people. You guys know me, I'm not like a hocus pocus reader. I'm going to tell you kind of what I see between the eyes. But I think that when the Seven of Swords comes up, it involves strategy, potential deception, or cunning maneuvers. And obviously you see like this figure that's sneaking away with swords, and it does represent partial truths or evasion. So in November, Libra, this card calls for being really vigilant, against dishonesty. I think your relational harmony is going to be tested by hidden agendas, either you or a partner's, and this is prompting clever navigation to protect your heart. Now, for couples, it might manifest as unspoken issues, while singles might, benefit from just guarding against misleading flirtations. Amplify this energy by, trying to be diplomatic, but also you have to confront suspicions tactfully. Set clear boundaries and really use intellect to discern intentions without paranoia. Obviously, this really kind of aligns with your kind of open-mindedness. I would be advising strategic honesty to maintain the balance. And I would embrace this as a lesson in like self-protection or, transforming potential betrayals into empowered choices that's going to foster trustworthy bonds. If you can channel this energy wisely, I think you'll actually, be able to persevere relational matters, maybe leading to deeper, more authentic connections for some, but this is about honoring your need for partnership, fairness, and truth in matters of love. All right, when it comes to your finance, we have the Three of Pentacles reversed. So obviously, financially, with the Three of Pentacles reversed, it's indicating that there's some collaboration breakdowns. There are some challenges going on in how you are either managing finances with another person, or some things are just not functioning any longer. Maybe skill mismatches or disharmony in team efforts, where cooperative building starts to falter. So, you've got a Mercury retrograde happening in your money house for you guys this month. So it's possible that, there is some miscommunications in money, or, unreliable partners in money matters are kind of showing up, like shared investments or group expenses. So I would apply this by shifting to independent strategies, reviewing contracts solo, seeking second opinions, and focusing on personal expertise to regain control. This reversal also corresponds, I think, to teaching self-reliance when harmony wanes to prevent losses. And expect temporary setbacks, but you'll use them for skill refinement or turning discord into individual strength. Now, November does encourage, I think, a sense of financial stability, and that it strives on, equitable contributions. Everybody's got to pull their weight. And this will ultimately lead to more secure and harmonious fiscal paths, but only if everybody is doing their part. Now, in the career department, you have the Ace of Wands coming up, which is a great card. Obviously, this is a new beginning. It's an initiation. And the Ace of Wands upright, it's about sparking creative inspiration. So this may be a month where you're like, okay, I've got some new ventures, some new ideas. I've got this passion and energy. Obviously symbolized by, kind of holding a sprouting wand. This represents potential. So in Libra, in November for Libra, in your career this month, I think this card is really igniting fresh opportunities. Maybe your aesthetic is changing professionally. Maybe you're kind of innovating, side projects that are attracting interest, and it's blending creativity with collaboration. Maybe in artistic or diplomatic fields as well. And I would apply this by really, seizing the moment. Trust your instincts when it comes to initiating and getting to launch new things. Keep in mind, Mercury's retrograde. So a lot of you guys would benefit from reworking websites, redoing your media, rethinking something about, how you kind of connect with other people. And you'll see this start to kind of unfold more so next month. But definitely network boldly and, really channel this enthusiasm into actionable plans. It'll amplify motivation while also, I think advising to be balanced to avoid getting kind of scattered during some of the retrograde energies this month. I would expect exciting developments like promotions or ideas taking root, especially ones that really foster professional growth. If you embrace the fire, you'll align really with work that you're most passionate about, and it leads to fulfilling advancements and possibly a very vibrant career trajectory in the months to come. And your final card that you get for the month ahead is the Six of Swords. So, it's like the month starts off chaotic. It's who can I trust and what's not working and how do I restart, or kind of like, start over. And what seeds do I plant? And then things start to calm down. So this is a card that really promises a smooth transition, obviously, to calmer waters. So healing journeys, retreats, maybe leaving troubles behind you and having better guidance. And I think as November is ending for you, Libra, this card really signals relief from upheaval and being a little bit more adaptive and moving on. Perhaps through resolutions or mental shifts that'll restore your peace. Apply this by accepting change. It's good to seek support. It's good to release baggage this month and really focus on forward progress. Don't bring everything with you. Some things need to stay in the past. And this correspondence, I think, really reinforces your quest for harmony. It turns trials into what can feel like serene closures by month's end, likely bringing about positive endings or reconciling conflicts. And it can leave you with optimism and balanced renewal for the future. Libra, I hope that was helpful. I will catch you guys back here in December. What's up, Scorpio and Scorpio risings? Welcome to your November 2025 Horoscopes. If you are a November Scorpio, happy birthday to you and me and us. I hope it is a good one. We have got 5 cards here for you for the month of November. 1 for general, 1 for love, 1 for finance, 1 for career, and an outcome card. The month kicks off with the Temperance card, and this is the general forecast, Scorpio. Temperance, upright, this is a major arcana card. It does embody balance, moderation, alchemical integration of opposites. Obviously illustrated by an angel, kind of pouring water between cups, and this symbolizes harmonious flow. So Scorpio, this is a month of healing, right? With retrogrades in your chart, with oppositions to your 7th house, this ebb and flow between how you're changing and how you can come together with another person is the theme. And I think it's really about harmonizing your intense transformative energy. Obviously, you're passionate, and this is about finding equilibrium through patience and maybe blending extremes like emotion and logic amid what can feel like some seasonal introspection with the retrograde. So if you apply this practice, you know, and you're practicing restraint and meditating on conflicts and cultivating inner peace via mindfulness practices, and really alchemizing challenges into growth, you're going to be more successful this month. This energy also corresponds to, I think, teaching you the synthesis for sustainable strength rather than an all or nothing approach to life. And I would expect a month of kind of subtle healing, where moderation prevents burnout and it helps foster, I think, you know, self-mastery. November almost becomes like a canvas for balance and reminding you that true power lies in tempered intensity, ultimately leading to enhanced stability, more emotional resilience, and a renewed sense of self and purpose this month. Now in the love department, you get the Five of Cups reversed. I don't even know at this point how many signs got this card. It's crazy. It came up a lot. But the Five of Cups reversed signifies healing from a broken heart. Okay, so you're releasing grief. Maybe you're getting over a breakup. Maybe you're letting someone go. Maybe you're forgiving someone. And once we do that, you can really shift the focus to, you know, positive, where loss is acknowledged, but it no longer defines you. And obviously for love this November, this card is bringing emotional recovery. So you're going to come across as more resilient, you know, maybe probing hearts let go of past pains, opening to new connections or deeper intimacy. For those healing from breakups, it signals forgiveness. And if you're in a relationship, it's about resolving lingering sorrows. I would apply this by embracing optimism. I would process feelings through reflection, communicate your vulnerabilities, and invite fresh energies into your life. Obviously, the reversal really corresponds to Scorpio's more transformative essence, turning sorrow into empowerment and helping build authentic bonds. If you can channel this month, you'll foster richer romances that align with your depth, I think leading to a month of renewal and hopeful horizons in the love department. Now, when it comes to finances, we have the Two of Cups reversed. Notice how you start with the Temperance and then everything's like reversed. It's like, slow down. You know, Two of Cups is usually relational and it's about partnerships and it's about harmony. So being that it's reversed, it's pointing to, in a financial sense, there's some disharmony coming up in partnerships. Maybe it's trust issues or imbalanced exchanges. Maybe there is, you know, mutual bonds that are faltering, which can impact you somehow physically or financially. This card does highlight joint dealings. Okay, so joint accounts, any joint resources, anything that you share, what's mine and what's yours. That's getting all reworked this month in some capacity. And it's possible that your intuitive insight might detect that there is some unfairness in deals, shared accounts, investments, and it's prompting a sense of reassessment and realignment. I would apply this by scrutinizing agreements. You know, communicate openly, set boundaries, prioritize self-protection. I think the reversal also is about tuning into your perceptive nature. So maybe it's about teaching discernment to restore, you know, equality. I would expect temporary tensions with others and know that it's about using them, you know, as kind of catalysts for stronger financial independence. It can transform discord into secure, balanced prosperity for some. Now, the fourth card is your career, which we get the Eight of Cups reversed. Wow, you guys have a lot of cups. What's going on? I mean, obviously you could be in your emotions here, but I think the Eight of Cups reverse indicates hesitation to abandon something, to leave a job, to leave a field, to go back, to, you know, abandon, you know, things that are more fulfilling. And the sense of inner conflict over departure coming up for you in some capacity. So maybe it's a, you know, return to reassess before moving on. And you guys don't usually do that. Usually you're pretty fixed in your ways, but there's something wavering this month. Obviously, you know, the card really urges confronting dissatisfaction, and likely with your intense drive, you know, questions about stagnant roles or resistance kind of delays making a change. You can apply this by, you know, really introspecting deeply and maybe evaluate purpose, release attachments, and pursue more meaningful shifts. This reversal also corresponds to turning indecision into empowered transitions. I would expect clarity on professional fulfillment. I would be also, expecting that to lead to advancements and renewed motivation. But I would also be careful about going back to places that you've worked before, okay? Or old bosses, old professional connections. There's something there that it's just not settling right with me. Now, on the final card, we have the outcome card, the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So this does suggest that, unfortunately, and I'm gonna blame the Mercury retrograde. I'm gonna be that person right now who's gonna be like, well, the retrograde doesn't end till the end of the month, and then it takes till mid-December to get out of, the post shadow and get out of Scorpio. So there is delays in manifestation this month, right? And there can be potential missed material potentials where, beginnings feel a little obstructed. I think in November, this card is really calling for refocusing your intentions and, knowing that your transformative power rebounds from setbacks and it'll realign for future stability, but likely not until next month. I would also be really doing or practicing grounding exercises, okay? So you can stay grounded because this is the lack of reversal earth element. Reinforcing for some of you guys that you have to address obstacles. You have to cultivate. If you do so, you can seed new foundations. You'll also find that you're going to emerge at the end of the month more resilient, and I think maybe turn some of these kind of reverse cards into rebirth moments. I would expect a thoughtful close, positioning you for tangible growth ahead. Scorpio, I hope it is a great month for you guys. Definitely let me know what happens, and I'll catch you back here in December. What's up, Sag and Sag Rising? Welcome to your November 2025 Horoscopes. If you're a November Sagittarius, happy birthday to you. I hope it's a good one. I've got 5 cards here for you. The general overview for the month, a card on love, finance, career, and outcome. All right, Saggies, so many people got the 5 of Cups, so don't take it personally. It came up a lot. So for you guys, the overall card I get is the 5 of Cups upright. This is a card of disappointment. This is about dealing with lingering regrets and a tendency to dwell on losses while sometimes overlooking remaining abundance or opportunities. As you can see, there is a woman here who's kind of mourning and standing over these cups that others have left behind. So for Sagittarius in November, the card really resonates with your Mercury retrograde in your sign, going into your 12th house, where things get a little perspective shift-like, and you see some potential setbacks. Maybe you're going to be feeling your freewheeling nature is really encountering some emotional highs and lows. And it's possible that unfulfilled travel plans or kind of doubts that are kind of happening about yourself are coming up. But remember that it's also reminding you to grieve briefly, then refocus on what's salvageable. I would apply this by practicing gratitude. Acknowledge pains through journaling, maybe talking with friends, then pivot to positives like exploration or learning. This energy is also teaching you growth comes from integrating loss rather than escaping it. That's how you truly foster resilience. So expect introspective moments that help balance, your fire with reflection. But I also think this is about transforming sorrow into wisdom. Now, November becomes a bridge to renewal. Obviously, we're kind of coming into Sagittarius season. So you will be, as we're getting into end of November, going into December, I think more likely to align with your more expansive vision. But you have to do this with emotional maturity. And this is ultimately leading to, I think, more grounded optimism and a life enriched in life adventures as the month progresses. Now, in the love department, you get the Hangman reverse, which might feel like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. This could also mean that if you're waiting too long to make certain decisions about relationships, you might get stuck. Obviously, the Hangman, reverse, it indicates resistance to surrender. Maybe there's stalled perspectives or a reluctance to let go of a relationship or to make changes when it comes to who you love or how you are in relationship. And this is where inversion can really block new insights. So, for Sagittarius in November, this card has, potential frustrations in relationships. Your independent, kind of truth-seeking heart might cling to rigid beliefs or avoid necessary sacrifices, leading to stagnation in relationships or misconnections for singles. Now, if you apply this and embrace flexibility by releasing ego-driven stances, I think through open dialogue, maybe experiment with new relational approaches and allow a vulnerability to kind of reveal fresh angles, you're going to navigate the love and relationship stuff much better this month. Now, this reversal also, I think, corresponds to really advising that true freedom and love arises from voluntary pauses and shifts, not avoidance. So expect challenges like miscommunication, but use them for growth. And I'd be turning resistance and resilience into, realizing that this can actually really highlight certain relationships and help kind of enlighten certain bonds. Now, if you channel this energy well, you'll foster, I think, a more dynamic romantic relationship life, likely with someone that honors your kind of exploratory spirit. This is also leading to deeper intimacy and renewed sense of relational adventure. But also, I just got to keep it real. I mean, your 7th house Lord's retrograde in your sign. A lot of you guys need space from a partner. And it's one thing to take space. It's another thing to completely isolate and shut them out. It's your job to find the middle ground. Now, when you get to finance this month, you have the Queen of Cups reversed. So this can mean that you're kind of going back and forth and dealing where money and emotions are tied up together, or there could be water signs like Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio that are involved in your financial matters. It always gets a little tricky when you see the Queen of Cups reversed because you can become very emotional about some of your financial situations. This means that, emotional clouding of judgment or oversensitivity in financial decisions or even neglected intuition leads to some financial imbalance. So this is where nurturing turns inward or manipulative if you don't watch out for it. Sagittarius, in November, this card really, I think, cautions against letting feelings override your logic. It's also your kind of optimistic impulses, which might lead to intuitive but risky spending. Like emotional purchases during the holidays, causing instability or kind of just crashing out and cashing, putting a bunch of stuff on your credit card. Really try to stay grounded in your spending choices. Balance heart with analysis through budgeting reviews. Try to seek relational advice and avoid kind of pity-driven investments. Now, the reversal is also teaching discernment between genuine intuition and whims to maintain financial freedom. I would expect some potential mishaps, but, obviously transform them into lessons for emotional financial harmony. And I think November really encourages self-care without the excess, reminding you that stable wealth supports your adventures, ultimately leading to wiser management and abundant security. Now, when it comes to your career, you get the Hierophant reversed. And so I'm wondering, are some of you guys going, I don't know what I believe in about work anymore, or do I need to work with a career counselor, or, am I just done with this altogether? The Hierophant reverse represents a rebellion against tradition. Okay, so questioning an authority figure or a mentor, or maybe deciding that you want to go in the direction of unconventional paths and break away from what your typical day-to-day work looks like. Some of you guys might literally need a sabbatical. And I think this is where structured guidance feels a little restrictive. You don't want to be told what to do right now, or you don't want to have to conform at work. So in November, this card really empowers innovation and truth-seeking, obviously, which is something you're good at, because it's challenging old, outdated systems. And that could be in education, travel-related work, philosophical roles. And it could lead to breakthroughs and, kind of breaking out of, kind of conforming to what you have just always done. I think that I would do this by exploring alternatives at work. So maybe networking outside of, your traditional kind of networking groups, pursuing independent projects, and obviously trusting your inner mentor over external ones. It's possible that this reversal is also advising you that growth really flourishes in uncharted territories professionally. This is also teaching you how to foster more authenticity out in the world. Yes, you can expect some tensions with maybe, meetings or conversations professionally, but you can use this for liberation and really align work with your personal beliefs. And if you're embracing this, you'll ignite passionate advancements, probably leading to fulfilling non-traditional roles for success in a career that's reflecting more of who you actually are. And for your outcome card, you get the Page of Swords reversed. So watch for air signs, right? Geminis and Libras and Aquariuses. This can also mean that the overall outcome is letting you know that, that Page of Swords reversed is signaling there's some communication mishaps. They gonna happen. They've been happening. I think that, this can mean that there is some immaturity that can come up in how you're communicating and connecting, both in relationships, but also at work. And that if you have scattered thoughts, it'll lead to scattered kind of communication and maybe potentially conflicts. This also means where youthful intellect kind of lacks grounding. So maybe you're curious, you have ideas, you want to connect and communicate, but you're not taking things very seriously. So it's possible that this card is really calling for caution in any major resolutions. Like I said, you're curious with this card. So you might encounter misunderstandings or hasty words, but you can resolve them if you're careful and help find clarity again. I would apply this card by refining my expression personally. I would be thinking before I'm speaking or clarifying my intentions and channeling that energy into focused learning. Because this reversal corresponds to, really teaching, I think, maturity in discourse and trying to have harmonious endings. So yeah, I'd expect some minor hurdles in communication or short distance travel, but this can also transform them into sharpened insights, and it's really wrapping up the month with a renewed sense of kind of mental health and likely positive momentum in your future quests in December. Sag, I hope it's a good one for you guys. Definitely give me some feedback. Let me know how you're doing, and I will catch you here next month. What's up, Capricorn and Capricorn Rising? Welcome to your November 2025 Horoscopes. Excited to be here with you guys today. I've got 5 cards that's going to be covering everything from a general overview to what you need to know about the love department, what to expect financially in your career, as well as an overall outcome card. Capricorn, the month kicks off with the Ace of Swords reversed. So something that you need to know going into the month is that, maybe this is referencing, Saturn retrograde in your communication zone. Maybe it means that you feel like you're kind of hitting a wall. But this can denote blocked clarity and misuse of intellect or mental hurdles that are preventing you from having breakthroughs. Likely where truth kind of feels obscured by confusion or sometimes power struggles. So in November, Capricorn, this card is challenging your kind of ambitious, disciplined approach by highlighting the need to have honest communication and honest reassessment. Your pragmatic drive might actually face indecision or kind of ethical dilemmas amid career or structural shifts. And this is likely urging a pause to overcome blocks. So you can overcome this by seeking truth. Maybe meditate on obstacles, consult trusted advisors, and really realign your thoughts with integrity to help cut through the fog. It also is really about teaching you that mental victories require confronting shadows for authentic power. So in order, to make it through this month, you got to kind of expect some frustrating mental blocks or delays. Use them for refinement. We can always transform reversals into sharpened focus. And November becomes a really forge for resilience, and it's reminding you that clarity emerges from persistence, ultimately leading to empowered decision and structured stability and a much stronger foundation for some of your long-term goals. Now in the love department, you get the Six of Swords, which, this does illustrate transition through calmer waters. So traditionally this is like healing journeys, moving away from troubles, guided movement onward. And obviously you always see in this card, generally in the traditional Rider-Waite deck style, like a ferryman that's symbolizing support. So Capricorn, for your love life in November, this card really signifies peaceful resolutions and your steadfast, kind of heart moves beyond conflict, and perhaps through relational healing, relieving toxic dynamics, maybe fostering emotional kind of relief. Now for couples, it could mean smoother communications, while singles may find solace in new beginnings. I would really apply this by embracing change. This can be a great card that's good for couples counseling or personal counseling, releasing grudges and trusting the process for renewal. And this energy really is about blending structure with flow for deeper bonds. So I would expect gentle shifts among the holidays that are kind of rolling in. And it's about aligning with, love and security. So if you can channel this, you'll cultivate stable, supportive romances that really honor your committed nature. And I think it will lead to more harmonious, intimate relationships, and also a little bit more optimistic when it comes to your relational horizons. All right, now into the finance department, we have got the Queen of Cups reversed. So obviously financially, your emotions can play a huge role on what's going on with your money this month. And usually when the Queen of Cups comes up reversed, it can point to, you being overly emotional in your decisions this month. Maybe you're feeling like you're suppressing your intuition, or, there's an imbalance where feelings disrupt practicality. So this could lead to clouded judgment. In November for your finances, this card is a warning against like heart-led risks. Maybe your discipline strategy might be swayed by sympathy or stress. There can also be impulsive aids or avoidance of tough choices during the holidays for the sake of keeping the peace. And it's also possible that if you apply this by balancing your emotions and really rationalizing spending through tracking, or, maybe prioritizing logic when it comes to your expenses and really nurturing yourself without the financial drain, you'll do better. This reversal also teaches integration of intuition with, I think, prudence for sustainable wealth. I would expect potential slips, but correct them for stability. Obviously transforming vulnerabilities, I think, into like a much more fortified security and a wiser kind of fiscal management moving on. Watch for water signs that are involved in your finances, though: Cancers, Pisces, and Scorpios. As for your career, this deck's obviously got a sense of humor. It gave you the Devil card. That is your card, by the way. And it is upright. So in the career sense, I look at this and I'm like, like, what's going on here? Because I know that the Devil represents bondage, to materialism, toxic attachment, shadow aspects, addiction. And obviously it's depicted by like chained figures under this devil, and it symbolizes illusions. So in November, obviously your career, this card really highlights recognition of limiting patterns at work. And this is about your drive and your pursuit of status that might trap you in unfulfilling roles or overwork. This is also about urging awareness of chains. So maybe apply this by confronting your addictions or evaluating your motivations and breaking free from draining commitments and like reclaiming your personal freedom. This energy also corresponds to Capricorn's mastery for teaching liberation from the shadows for true success. So I would expect intense kind of like realizations, but I would use them for empowerment and aligning work with integrity and leading a healthier and more rewarding professional path forward. And then your outcome card that you get for the month ahead is the Hermit card. All right, so essentially it's coming up upright. You got two majors here, so there's definitely some kind of going on between Virgo and Capricorn season. That might be like the cycle that you're working through with some of this stuff. And this signifies introspection. So this is about solitude for wisdom. This is also about inner guidance, and like that lantern that the Hermit carries is like a figure of him standing on this like mountainous path, really, reevaluating where he is and where he's going and what he needs to kind of realize and recognize within himself. So in November, Capricorn, this card really brings enlightened closure overall across the board. Maybe, your soul gains clarity through reflection. Maybe it's about withdrawing to strategize, future ambitions. Maybe this is about really tapping into that Mercury retrograde in your 12th house and doing like a spiritual solitude retreat or a meditation course, or, doing yoga or some past life regression. If you're applying these seeking/solitude type of practices, you're going to find that it's really going to reinforce the necessary discipline, the need for, isolation, because it's going to provide you with profound growth. And I would expect wise endings, like resolved goals, leading you to feeling more empowered and directed in December as you're coming into what will be your season. Capricorn, I hope that this is helpful for you. Definitely let me know what transpires throughout the month, and I'll catch you back here in December. What's up, Aquarius and Aquarius rising? How are you guys doing? Welcome to your November 2025 tarot scope. I hope it's a good one for you guys. I have got a number of cards here. We're going to be doing 5 cards to give you some insight on what you'll be expecting in the month of November. We've got a general overview, a card on love, finance, career, and an outcome card. Now, the general energy for the month of November is fierce. You have the 7 of Swords reversed. Now, obviously the 7 of Swords, really, it's about triumph. It's about honesty over deceit. It's about restoring your integrity and exposing truths, especially where sneaky tactics give way to straightforwardness. So Aquarius in November, this card is aligning with your more innovative, kind of problem-solving type of persona. Obviously, your forward-thinking mind might uncover hidden agendas in social or tech spheres, or potentially at work. I could say that as well. And this is about fostering, trust amongst what might feel like some difficult group dynamics. Now, if you are applying this by really focusing on embracing transparency, maybe confronting evasions directly, and rebuilding alliances through open communication, I think that you will find that things will get a little bit easier as the month goes on, and you realize that it's about using intellect for ethical advancements. Now, this reversal corresponds to really teaching you that progress thrives on authenticity rather than cunning shortcuts. So in general, across the board, in relationships, at work, and when it comes to finances, stay on the clear path, right? You want to stay the straight and narrow path, and you want to also expect revelations that are going to help, put you in a position of being able to use your intuition, reduce paranoia, maybe enhance collaborations. And November can be a catalyst for, major changes when it comes to integrity, probably reminding you that true innovation stems from honest foundations and ultimately leading to, I think, empowered networks or clearer visions and, a renewed sense of kind of communal purpose this month. Now, the second card you get is the card that is all on the overview for love this month. And the card that you get is the Page of Swords upright. So this could be used in Aquarius as an air sign. It can mean that you're dealing with another Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. It could also mean that, the Page of Swords really embodies being curious and chatty and intellect and, being a communicator and youthful ideas. I love this card. Obviously, we've got like this young page that's wielding a sword, and really it's about symbolizing his mental strength. Obviously, in November for Aquarius, the card really is about stimulating conversations and connections. Maybe, you're a little unconventional and witty, and, there's more idea-driven romances, or perhaps through debates or shared visions, you kind of fall in love with someone. It can also mean for couples it's encouraging honest dialogue, and if you're single, it's about finding intriguing matches via online or intellectual pursuits. I would apply this by channeling curiosity to relationships. If you want to go deeper, ask probing questions and express your thoughts clearly. Make sure you guard against sharpness or turning abrasive with this Page of Swords, because there could be some kind of frankness in your discussions. And this page, really corresponds to that kind of airy sense of detachment that all the air signs have. So it's blending detachment with engagement for dynamic bonds. Maybe expect exciting challenges, aligning love with mental kind of stimulation. And I think if you're embracing this, you'll foster, better innovative relationships that are going to kind of match your unique perspective, likely leading to deeper and more liberating intimacy. Now, for the finances this month, we get the Devil card, you and Capricorn. There is definitely a sense of feeling like, okay, money can be a little tight, right? Saturn's back in your money house. That might be part of it. But it is signaling that there is a sense of entrapment in material possessions or addictive patterns, or, illusory kind of like bonds to wealth. Maybe this is about urging recognition of these self-imposed chains. High expenses, money out, buying things, and financial responsibilities and obligations can be a theme as well. But, finances in November, this card is definitely indicating that there can be some spending habits or some addictions that are kind of coming up, or some debt traps. And you're known for your kind of progressive ideas. So maybe it's about risky ventures, like if you're, gambling in crypto, right, without a balance, or, you're putting a bunch of money on your credit card that you can't pay. We want to look at this card and go, all right, it's time to break free. And it's about auditing your habits and setting limits, maybe redirecting your energy towards sustainable kind of financial methods. And this card really corresponds with, I think, teaching you liberation from materialism for true freedom. I would expect that there will be some moments where you have to confront some hard financial truths, but you can transform them into, empowered moments for better fiscal health and aligned abundance in the future. Now, the next card that we have is on your career, which is the Three of Pentacles reversed. So team effort is going to be a bit challenging this month. Certainly when the Three of Pentacles comes up reversed, it does denote collaboration breakdowns. Okay, so this could be issues with scheduling, problems with getting hired, consistency with work, having problems with coworkers, and skill mismatches, or maybe, signaling like challenges in group projects. So, I know you're inventive, but you may clash with others a little bit, especially when it comes to their approach this month, and there could definitely be some inefficiencies. So you really want to communicate visions clearly, try to seek compatible partners, maybe focus on individual contributions. And this reversal corresponds to Aquarius's independence, and I think turning discord into refined excellence. So you can make adjustments. It'll lead to stronger, more innovative professional outcomes, but likely you're going to see that you're getting a lot more done on your own than you are in kind of like a team, effort or dynamic. And then for the outcome card, you have the King of Wands upright. So you're either channeling this energy, or there is some kind of connection or support that is coming from a fire sign, obviously Aries, Leo, or Sag. It can mean that you're kind of coming out the other side victorious. You've worked through some of the relational issues. You've stood your ground. You've communicated, recognized where the weak spots are and where you needed to kind of go your own way. And I think a lot of this is going to happen in a professional sense, just to be frank with you guys. So the King of Wands could be that you're coming out at the end of the month, not completely unscathed, but definitely at least on top. And he's known for being a visionary, right? He's passionate, he's charismatic, he takes action, and this can be great for like entrepreneurial, like fire. And if you see on the throne, he's seated there and he's holding this wand. And I think that this is about inspired achievement. So, if there are leadership opportunities, likely you'll see success. If there's innovative projects that are taking off, you're going to be thrilled by them. This is also about embodying this confidence. So it's about motivating teams, pursuing bold ideas, and really being balanced when it comes to your enthusiasm and your strategy. So this king, I think, corresponds with your forward thinking kind of mentality. And it's helping really wrap up the month in a very victorious way. And it's leading you to feel maybe a little battered and bruised, but definitely fulfilled and successful. Aquarius, I hope it is a great month for you guys. Definitely circle back and let me know how the month unfolds, and I'll catch you here in December. What's up, Pisces and Pisces rising? Welcome to your November 2025 Horoscopes. I hope you guys are well. I'm excited to connect with you again. I've got 5 cards for you to give you a reading for the month of November. Now we have a general overview, a card on love, finance, career, and a general outcome card for the month. Now the month begins with your general card, which is the 10 of Wands. Well, 10s are always about wrapping something up, a cycle, a conclusion. You've got 2 of them coming up in this spread. So there is going to be a lot of feeling like you need to get the show on the road with wrapping stuff up. It can be very career related. It can be very relationship related. But I think that I would watch for burdens with feeling overwhelmed by responsibilities. You're going to feel tested this month. I think when it comes to feeling like maybe you have overcommitted to things. Obviously, this is kind of my deck, my take on some of the images, but I when I was looking at creating the 10 of Wands, I was like, I want to make it look like they're going out and they're having to collect, like scraps and bits of branches and other things, you know, to carry it back home to prepare for like the winter. So you see this figure carrying like a load, symbolizing a culmination, but also there's strain. They're having to do it by themselves, and there is a sense of needing to do it now because there's like a time limit. So in November, I think that it is going to be bringing up for you the need to meet deadlines, meet timelines. Maybe it's highlighting your need for boundaries. Maybe it's saying, hey, you know what? You're taking on too much. Could be family duties or creative overloads, you know, amid holiday times, leading to burnout. So apply this by delegating tasks. Okay, that's how you can get the most done this month. Prioritize tasks if you must say no gracefully, and seek help to help lighten the load. Because this energy really corresponds to teaching you that true flow comes from release rather than endurance. Yes, expect some fatigue peaks, but use them for reevaluation and transforming overload maybe into having a shift and going more in the direction of having better balanced energy. Now, November becomes a lesson in self-care, I think, reminding you that creativity thrives in freedom, ultimately leading to renewed vitality, which means clearer boundaries and more harmonious life's rhythm. Now, in the love department, you get Judgment, which means there are some big decisions being made in relationships. I know there's been a lot for you recently with eclipse season this fall. But I do know that Judgment is like a wake-up call, right? It awakens renewal. It calls for rebirth through past lessons and transformative clarity. So you see these figures rising, you know, to a trumpet, symbolizing, you know, an awakening. I think that in you know, love this November, the cards really herald profound shifts, and maybe you're finding that, you know, experiences for relational rebirth are taking place, perhaps forgiving old wounds or embracing soul connections. For couples, I think it means revivals, and that singles may actually attract karmic matches. If you apply this by heeding inner calls and reflecting on patterns, you'll find that, you know, you can communicate epiphanies with partners very clearly. You can openly embrace change and be more receptive in love. But Judgment corresponds to Pisces' more spiritual depth. It's about blending empathy with evolution for fulfilling bonds. So I would expect awakening moments that are aligning with love and destiny. And by better channeling this, you'll foster, I think, transcendent romances that really honor your compassionate essence. And it's leading to joyful, more renewed intimacy. Now, in the financial department, the third card is the Nine of Wands reversed. Okay, we got a 9, a 10, completions, you know. So with finances, the Nine of Wands reversed is really about dropping defensive tendencies financially, easing exhaustion, signaling letting go of unnecessary guards where resilience really turns into weariness. Now in November, Pisces, I think this card is really advising releasing your fears. Maybe your sensitive approach might hold on to protective habits like hoarding amid uncertainties. But now it's time to relax a little bit and get into the flow. So if you are willing to apply this by rebuilding trust and maybe assessing risks calmly and diversifying without strain, and also avoiding burnout from over-worrying, then this reversal can really teach you that strength through surrender for abundance is necessary. This is also about expecting relief from tension, and that it could lead to resilient and optimistic fiscal paths moving forward. In your career department, you guys get the Two of Cups. So this is typically a relationship card, but when you're getting this card in a sense of career and it's reversed, it's saying that something that's really kind of coming up for you at work is where there are some major imbalances going on with partnerships. And that could be, in public relationships, that could be in professional relationships, that could be in business partnerships. And you're certainly going to notice the disruption in the harmony in alliances. And I don't really feel like you're going to be able to avoid it. And it's going to be a lot of what you're hashing out during the Mercury retrograde. Who do I stay with? Who do I not? Who's got my back? Who's draining me? And this card really points to kind of like faltering teams. So, you know, you have this more like empathic kind of style, and I think you're going to encounter this month some misalignments, and this will lead to creative blocks. This could also apply to, you know, relationships where you're really seeking, you know, equity and, you know, balance in your relationships, or I guess efficiency as well. And what you're going to find is that you need to communicate your needs in a professional setting. And there is also a need to realign your goals and also nurture mutual respect in partnerships. So this reversal is really corresponding to turning discord into balanced unions if possible. But if certain relationships, particularly professionally or career-wise, just cannot find that equilibrium, then you need to make adjustments. Maybe it means that you have to let certain people go to foster, you know, harmonious growth and new opportunities with other people. And you may have to just realize who's just not a fit this month, or where you're just not seeing eye to eye professionally. And there could be some change in direction of just what you want to do, who you're working with, or who you want to serve. And then the outcome card that you guys get is the Ten of Swords, but it is reversed. So, I mean, obviously we've got a completion here. You know, Ten of Swords is a difficult card. It's about recovering from rock bottom. And so I know a lot of you guys have been going through this cycle that's been like home change and work change and relationship change. And you're like, what else can change? And I would say, well, now you're going to start kind of, you know, building upwards. You're coming out of the month of November where you're like, okay, I have ended some really painful cycles. It's been difficult, but it's also been regenerative, and it's definitely paving the way for renewal. And where there's been some downfall shifts that are now going to be kind of, you know, uprising and kind of getting lighter, and you're going to start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I think as November kind of concludes, Pisces, this card really brings hope from the depths. It's going to show you how resilient you are, that you're releasing suffering, that you're opening to healing. I would apply this by accepting closure. It's also about forgiveness and embracing new dawns and focusing on rebirth. And this correspondence also really reinforces your kind of transformative flow this month in the midst of Scorpio season. And it's about ending things positively with release and optimism, because you know that those endings are ultimately almost like fertilizing new beginnings. And that could be relationship-wise, personally, career-wise, you name it. So we want to begin to kind of forgive and move on. Pisces, I hope that that was really helpful for you guys. Definitely give me a comment below and let me know how things transpire for you. And I'll catch you back here in December. All right, guys. Well, that is it for me for your November 2025 tarot scopes. Do me a favor and give me a thumbs up on this video. Consider sharing on your socials. While you're there, follow me on X at BTV Astro. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. And definitely subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow. You can catch more of these videos, like my horoscopes, my new full moon reports, my retrograde videos, and my Sunday astro weather. Now, if you guys like this deck, and if you would like to pick up the Sword and the Rose Tarot, this is a deck that I have designed and put out. We have a limited number of decks. We've got about half of them left right now, and once the inventory is gone, it's gone. Click the links below in the description. Head over to my Etsy store. You can take a look at that. And keep your eyes peeled, because I'm going to be probably doing an unboxing video where I'm going to go through all of the cards here very soon. I hope you guys enjoy. As always, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it very much, and I'm wishing you guys a very magical 11/11 day. I'm celebrating with you as it is my birthday. So sending you guys lots of good power number vibes, master number vibes, and I will see all of you guys back here on Thursday. Take care.